Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. I'm Jackson from Campaign Coins, and this is the Campaign Coins Twitch and YouTube channel, depending on where and when you are watching. I'm here with Mark from Campaign Coins, and we are talking about Crucible, the outstanding, innovative, new coin-flipping RPG from Cosm Games. And who are we talking with but Gareth Hodges of Cosm Games, the designer of the game itself. There it is. There's Crucible in all of its very shiny glory. And you can take a look at what exactly this book has in store for you at campaigncoins.com/Crucible. That is where you'll find a hard copy of the book and a PDF copy of the book and all of the lovely, beautiful, shiny coins that you need to play this game. As that's coming through, I know I have a very temperamental mic, but there you go. That's why we do these things.
It's like you're rattling them inside my head.
That's why we do these things. So yes, campaigncoins.com/Crucible, and as we often do with these kinds of streams, we thought we might give something away, and this time it is a PDF copy of Crucible. You can see right there on the screen. If you type !Lumen into the chat, then you'll go in the draw to win a PDF copy of the Crucible role-playing game. This is going to be a pretty casual, I think, laid-back chat, it's fair to say. Gareth is going to talk us through exactly what makes Crucible so special and what went into the development of the world and the game, and most importantly of all, I think, the coins.
Definitely.
There was one thing more I wanted to say. Oh yeah, of course. We're just having a casual chat, so feel free to ask us questions. If you're in the chat, if you've arrived, I am sure that there will be questions about what is such a
Jackson,
unique...
where do babies come from?
Oh no, too soon. That's all right. I think...
Too late.
I think we won't need to cover that topic. Yes, so ask Gareth questions, ask Mark questions about the development of this game and the coins. I think I've rambled for long enough. So
I'm not going to take anything away from the excellent of that introduction, but going to add a detail that you can also get Crucible direct from DriveThru. So if, like me, you have 60 gig of role-playing games, they won't fit on one Kindle anymore, you can also buy directly from DriveThru. And of course, you'll find a DriveThru link on our site because we just reciprocate all over the shop. So let's get into it. Morning, Gareth.
Good morning. Thank you, Jackson, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, Mark. And thank you for having me.
You seem to have a couple of books behind you.
Just a few, yes. That's most of my pride and joy, my role-playing collection that I've accumulated over more years than I care to count.
Wow. Okay. All of a sudden, the aliens burst into your room because I see you have the skull of one up there, and you only have time to save one book, and it's not Crucible because that would be just a little bit too self-serving. Which book would you save, Gareth, from that fantastic collection?
Nobilis, without question. Nobilis by Jenna Moran.
Wow, that's a deep cut. Tell us about it.
Nobilis is one of the most beautiful and beautifully written role-playing games that I've ever encountered. It can easily fit every other role-playing game inside it. And it's sweeping and beautiful. You basically play the new kids on the block, gods working for even bigger gods who are busy fighting a war for creation, and you are responsible for a small fragment of creation, and it is you can play, the power of keys or the power of mystery or the power of cats or whatever, and you are the person who is responsible for that in reality. And it opened my eyes to a whole new realm of possibility with role playing. And in a large part, Crucible is actually a bit of a love note to Nobilis, and is in my head, Crucible fits sort of inside one of the pocket realms of Nobilis, so you could easily play both together.
Fantastic. It's like a role-playing game of holding.
Yes. Nested dolls of gaming. But yeah, so the Crucible is where do I start? In world, the Crucible is a great bowl of a world suspended in the luminous ether, and crafted by 6 great forces, which we call the primes, which are earth, air, fire, water, which you are familiar with, and then fate and flux, which are the sort of the kind of versions of order and chaos in the world. And these 6 forces came together, created this world, which is a bowl shape, with the settled area on the inside of the bowl, and set it to the task of helping souls to achieve enlightenment. Of course, the system broke, and enlightenment is now a hard thing to come by. And the story that we hope that people will tell is striving to find that, in spite of the break, in spite of the introduction now of a 7th prime called Dross, which is sort of the bits left over from the work of the other 6, and the material that is discarded when souls are refined through the process of enlightenment, and has nowhere to go because the system is broken. So it's a bit of a moral journey, where characters explore not only the world and have adventures in the sort of high fantasy tradition, but also explore their inner morality, and their path along the route of enlightenment is marked by the choices that they make and the tenets of morality that they adhere to.
Will playing this game make me a better person?
Absolutely, it will make you a better person. It will make you a better person in 36 possible ways.
Wow.
Not only will you believe in good and evil, but you will have the tools to identify and refine your own moral standpoint in the world, and strive for whatever you hold dear, whether it be wisdom or camaraderie, or it could be I'm trying to remember the names of all the pillars now.
There's just so many ways. So many ways for self-improvement, which is
many ways for you to direct your moral development during the course of the game.
Fantastic.
I love that as a fantastic theme, and I love resisting dross. That's fantastic. That's some Marie Kondo level kind of brilliance right there. Get thee behind me, dross. The game uses coin flips, which of course we love. So you got a unique world, a unique kind of create a theme, like what you want to convey in your art, and also a unique mechanic. So chicken, egg, what came first?
What came first was the coins.
Yay!
Yes.
Capitals and wins.
Back, yeah. Way back in the mists of time, when I was thinking about what sort of game I wanted to develop, I knew that I wanted to have a system where the in-world supports and props and things like the coins that you carry in your pouch, or the magical items that you have with you, are something that you can hold in your hand as a player. The actual development of the coin flip mechanic came a little bit later, but we settled on coins as being the instrumental sort of iconic symbol of the world fairly early on. Even before it was called Crucible, back in early development, we knew that we wanted to have coins be front and center the world frame. And in fact, not only are they currency in the game world, but they are the tokens of power that you use to fuel yourself as an enlightened individual, as what we call a tempered individual or an invested individual. So the tactile joy of having a handful of coins, the weight of them, very different to dice, the smell of metal, the fact that after after a little while of playing Crucible, the coins become warm from having been touched by your skin, and they feel almost like an extension of you as you throw them. All of these things just really resonated with the development team as being something unique and something different to the standard dice throw mechanic. So we rolled with that, or we threw with that, and built the world literally around the coins.
I love that. Marco, one of Mark's favorite phrases is that we make coins because it's like a handshake between you and your character. It's like you're holding the coins that your character is holding. And in this case, you don't even have to hold dice because you keep the coins in your hand the entire time, which I think is fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah. So the system for tossing coins, we had a few interesting development challenges. Originally, the coins were a lot larger and there were more of them, but we realized that some people in this world are not blessed with large hands, and we had to reduce both the scale and the number of coins that we were using so that our small-handed friends could participate in the game just as easily. It's been a wild ride getting here. I was hoping to sort of do a bit of a quick run through of the world and some of the options available to players.
Well, you have brought along some outstanding art, which we'll take a look at now.
Oh,
Okay.
and name check some artists on the way so that everyone can look them up and enjoy them too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this first piece is one of the design sketches we had for one of our species. There are 6 playable species in the Crucible, and they're all quite diverse. You have a lot of options for how you personalize them. Unlike races from other role-playing games, the species are sort of broad categories like elementals, or plants or insects. So within those broad categories, you can really customize yourself as much as you like, with one slight exception, which I'll get to. But so first up, we've got this spread of what we call the Akrasi. The Akrasi are a plant-based people who are devoted to the prime of flux. They're very changeable. They're very experimental. Very scientific people, and they're very interested in change as it reflects upon them personally and on the world. So one of the abilities that the Akrasi have is to graft new things into their bodies quite easily. So they can add extra limbs. They can add extra.
It's a fantastic piece of art. I love the way their roots, they're kind of growing out of the earth and walking around, and the butterflies. It's really inspirational. And like you're way pre-Groot with that, right?
Oh yes, yeah. This was 2014. We started on 2015.
That's a love. That's a really. I don't think anyone's played a character like that. That's a really lovely kind of thing. Yeah. Nice.
So the Akrasi very much embrace change and embrace difference. And what have we got next? I think we've got the final image there.
Oh, go straight to this chat.
No, sorry. Back a bit.
Oh, go back to this one.
Yeah,
gotcha.
No.
Nope.
And then one on from there. Yeah. So this is the final, the character sort of set piece that we have for the Akrasi. This is Vandra. And Vandra has a host of symbiotic butterflies that live with them, and is one of the scientists of the Crucible. As you can see, sort of vines and creepers that add as extra limbs for manipulating experiments. And they've got a lens over their eye for examining things. Both of those things can be in the game as relics, which are kind of like magic items that you invest coins into to give them power. And they become bound to you and improve level as you go on as a character, so that your cool, unique signature items develop with you throughout the game. Moving on. This is
allegedly a human, I believe.
Allegedly a human. Humans in Crucible are a little bit different to the sort of generic human that we see in other role-playing systems. Humans have a very particular point in Crucible. They're servants of fate. They're very traditional and they're very hierarchical. And this one particularly is a bond knight. And the sword that she's carrying is actually what's called a flash-forged sword, where they take moments of fate, moments of time and ephemeral things and forge them into objects. So this is a sword made out of a bolt of lightning.
Nice.
And it is fated so that one day the lightning will be released. And that will happen at a profound moment in the story of this character. So humans are also a little bit responsible for why the Crucible broke. And there was an empire that was ruled by humans in far distant times called the Everglass Empire. And the Everglass.
Now that's one of the coin symbols, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's the 100.
Yeah.
I'll get to the.
Okay, it's the twin hourglass.
The two hourglasses that flow into each other. So the Everglass is a symbol in the Crucible for eternal rulership, and a regime that sort of ran unbroken for 10,000 years, and then broke.
As they do.
And now everyone's picking up the pieces. So there is an option that allows for a variety of human in the game that is more drawn from the inspiration of any mammal that you care to play. Humans can be basically any kind of anthropomorphic mammal. It's just that the relics of human society tend to look like humans we would understand. But in my Sunday,
and you need opposable thumbs to hold a lightning sword, I guess.
Exactly. One of the players in my Sunday game plays a spider monkey who is a human, and everyone else sort of looks at him and goes, "Oh, he must be human. He's got the right sort of proportions." And
look, I think I speak for everyone. I want my goddamn prehensile tail. And I'm still mad that some doofus evolved that out of us. Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
All right, who's next?
Crying shame. Okay, who's next? We have the Skur, I believe. And this is Tukantuchak. The Skur are the insectoid species of the Crucible. And they're very gregarious. They're pledged to the fate, to the prime of air, and they have a species-wide sort of aspiration to reach the Lumen. The Lumen is the both sun and moon in the world of Crucible. By day, it ignites in fire and gives off golden sunlight, and at night the fire dims and becomes this silvery phosphorescence. And the Skur are fascinated by this, and try very, very hard to get as high as they can to try and touch the Lumen. And so far, none of them have made it. Yes. Speaking of which, ! Lumen in the chat will put you in the draw to win a copy of the PDF of Crucible.
I just thought it was a fantastic. You were talking. It was like, that's how to spell it. Lumen.
Yes.
And flipping coins. I'm all here for grasshoppers flipping coins. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. The other three species I don't have art for at the moment, but broadly speaking, there's the Yakshai, who are sort of water elementally type creatures who shapeshift based on mood. They have a glacial form when they're very reserved and withdrawn, a balanced form which is sort of for their everyday coming and going, and then a storm form for when they're really riled up, angry or passionate.
Nice.
Some of them can control whether or not they change forms. Most of them, it's like a mood ring. If you're feeling passionate, then your storm form manifests. They're obviously pledged to the prime of water, and they're very sort of secretive and cryptic kind of species. They keep to themselves.
Nice. That's great.
Much less.
I love the idea of playing a walking mood ring. Like that's superb. Like, I would like to rage. I would like to be introspective for a time. It's great. It's really inspiring. Yeah. All right, let's kick on with more art. Show me more things.
This one should look very familiar to anyone who's seen the book already.
Yes, this is
excellent double spread.
Beautiful, beautiful cover art by Kathy Wilkins, we commissioned Kathy. I met her at Gen Con 2015, and her and Matt Stawicki really sort of mentored me through the process of art direction for this project. And Kathy was wonderful in contributing art. There's another piece of hers coming up. Sadly, she passed away at the beginning of last year.
Nice.
And we've dedicated the book to her. And we're very, very proud to have her art on the front cover as the first thing that people see of the Crucible world.
It is so evocative, and I feel like I'm just somewhere magical and different. So we'll bless to her. So we'll put a note on the video below, and you can look up her portfolio and see more of her work and pay tribute to this amazing person. Yeah. And that symbol I'm seeing once again.
That's it.
It's on a coin.
That pyramid that floats above the heart of the Crucible is it's called the Vault, and it's sort of the symbol of enlightenment. It's the hidden treasure that everyone strives for and nobody knows what it is. And it can be seen from anywhere in the Crucible, no matter where you are. You can always look toward the Vault and see it hanging in the sky, just over the horizon. If we move on to the next four pieces of art, the faces of the Vault match the faces of the four elemental primes, the earth, air, fire, and water. And these pieces were done by Delph Devoir, who I think I'm pronouncing that.
Oh, Delph. Yeah.
Who's
fantastic.
Done work. Yeah. She's a French artist who is a delightful person to work with. She's done work on doing props for Horror on the Orient Express and a few other Cthulhu campaigns. And yes, she designed the elemental primes symbols for the Vault on the
lovely
cover. Good. And
now, Gareth, we are running you ragged. Do you have you got a drink of water at hand? I feel like I need to.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I know you're so excited. So I'm going to do some Gareth care. So hydrate up, Jackson. You have the floor.
Oh, I do. Oh no, Gareth will come straight back and take it back. That's all right with me. What else to say? I'm enjoying this so far. I had a bit of an interesting introduction to Crucible because I started working on the pages on the website and the coins on the website before I knew anything about the game. But I really enjoyed reading through some of the info on the website about the coins as I was pulling it together for our website. And I don't think there are many other coins on our site where the story of the world is so closely tied in to the
I've
coins.
no, it's outstanding. I've never seen it done, and this I think we're going to have 4 elements here, right, Gareth?
Yeah.
Yep, that's correct.
I was enjoying looking at this up for almost the first time, and hearing about where it ties in the story, and recognizing those stories and those bits of the world from the coins. So I think these are really special.
Well, shall we talk more about the coins then?
I think we better had. Here they are.
Okay, so 7 coins. We originally wanted the denomination of the coins to be to match the progression of characters through the world. So literally each denomination is a multiplier of your ability and power and skill in interacting with the world, which means that you go from the one denomination where you're a very, very competent hero, slightly better than your average person on the street, but still vulnerable to mundane challenges, all the way up to the 20, the 50, the 100, where you're moving mountains and creating cities overnight, and conjuring entire cultures and civilizations out of the air. And the mechanic for that it just expresses naturally from the fact that the coins increase in denomination as you go. Going through them, the coins themselves in the world were originally designed by the primes as sort of meditation tokens to assist with the pathway to enlightenment. And as you can see on this face of the coins, there are these mandala patterns that develop in complexity across the course of the 7 coins. If we go, I think, back one to where the numbers. Where the numbers are. So the Everglass Emperor, in his wisdom, decided that he would turn these coins into base currency and branded them with numbers, which you can see they've defiled the mandalas, and in some cases, in the case of the 2 highest denominations, obscured them completely, and put his own designs on the 100. To represent his sort of command of the world. And when we were doing the Kickstarter for the project, we actually had a pledge level where you could get your face on the coins. So the 50 and the 100 are actually the face of 2 of our backers. So they've been immortalized in coin. And that was a really exciting sort of thing to go through the process of taking profile shots of our backers and then having the artists render them into the world. The 100 is a human and is the face of the Everglass Emperor. The 50 is a Yakshai queen, who's also a very powerful figure in the world, and needed to have some modifications done to make her look sort of slightly alien and also
like the backer.
and also recognizable as a backer, yes.
Now, who's your artist here, Gareth?
Okay, so we the mandalas were done by Leah Hadley Yeagus, and the other side, the face side, so not the face side, the tail side, were done by Gray Chizira, and I'll chuck a link to their Instagrams in the comments later. They were our team artists, and they did a lot of the character art and the incidental art for the project. And all the way through the book, you can see some of the sketches that we've put in to give you an idea of the development of the game. And
all right, so we'll come back to the coins because we've got more things to talk about, the making of, and also how they work in the game. But let's keep going with the world.
Okay.
Now
What's the next?
Bestiary sketches.
Yes,
I believe, which look like of course the classic black and white pencil sketches from all of our favorite old RPGs. I like that throwback.
one of the things we wanted very much with the game was to have a bestiary section, or a scholar's journal with sketches of things from the world done from within the context of the world. We got Melissa Gay, who is a beautiful scientific illustrator and fantasy artist, to do a series of sketches of creatures and phenomena. And this is one of my favorites. This is the fruit hog. This is an example of what you can do when you're throwing around 50 and 100 denomination coins. So you can come up with new creatures. And the fruit hog is a domesticated plant-based porcine creature. When it's young, it runs around and roots and plays like a normal piggy, and then when it becomes an adult, it sets down roots and basically becomes a sedentary tree, which can be harvested for further little piggies. And it's one of the staple sort of creatures of the populated parts of the Crucible. They, as you can imagine, they do terribly in the wild, because they're very much a domesticated species. But
it's like a pig which comes with its own apple. Like that's very precarious.
Or fig, as the Antipodean D20 says in chat. Fig pig?
Fig pig!
Perhaps that's the common name among the people.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a shot of the life cycle of the fruit hog. Up next, we have the Illraska. Illraska are companion animals for the enlightened. As you can see, we sort of went with a fox head and a snake body. These things, they can levitate. And they bond to individuals and share their dreams. So when you have an Illraska companion, whenever you dream, your Illraska comes with you in dreams. And they're sort of like a little thing that sits on your shoulder and sort of asks you challenging questions about which direction you've chosen to do. Sort of a bit of a moral compass.
Oh my God.
That sounds like a massive buff. I wish I had an Illraska in my life.
It's like a cat that judges you, which cats do, but this one could tell you about it as well.
You can't escape from even when you're asleep.
Quit it.
Cool. I am glad they can levitate. My partner Rachel saw this art and said, well, actually, snakes need scales to slither. So a furry snake wouldn't work, but, they fly. So that's all good. I'm glad you've nipped that in the bud.
Yep. And next up is, Ocean's Grasp. Basically, we thought that the oceans needed something tentacular in it, and so rather than having some ill-defined beastie, we decided we'd just go with the tentacles. They're basically like giant wrigglers that live along the shores of the oceans of the wild areas of Crucible, and clutches of them will reach out and grasp passers-by and drag them into a watery grave. It's one of the challenges that you can face in the Crucible.
As tentacles are wont to do.
Yep, and and if they wanted to partner up with something else that benefits from drowned passers-by, then I'm sure you can have a symbiotic relationship with something. But yeah, just animated tentacles sort of were something that we wanted to have in the game.
All tentacled, no kraken. Love it.
Yep, exactly. I mean, there's probably kraken as well, but this is the functional end. And up next,
this is a friendly creature.
Yes, this is a Lumen Hawk. They're basically large, sort of flying scorpion creatures. They're called Lumen Hawks because they have the habit of hovering directly above you, invisible in the light of the lumen, and waiting for you to be unsuspecting, and then diving down and striking with their paralytic poison. So they because the lumen is in a fixed position, the sun doesn't rise and set in Crucible. It's just always overhead.
Now, I'm sure the lumen is on a coin. Is that the one coin? The two coin?
No, the Lumen is actually on the 50 as an absence. It's the dot missing from the 50 at the top.
Good Lord. Wow, that's okay. Wow,
Yep.
Fantastic.
Hovering above the pillars.
See if I can get my focus right. Maybe I'll keep my focus on. There it is. There.
Yeah.
Lighting's not great,
nice.
but at least it's in focus.
And what are the pillars there?
The pillars are they're sort of like guideposts that the primes set down to guide people to enlightenment in the early days of the world. They're mostly, as you can see from the cover art, they're broken and ruined now, but in their heyday they were 6 sort of bastions of morality that outlined the tenets that were written into the world. In Crucible, there's rather than having good and evil, law and chaos, there's 6 pillars and then 6 tenets under each pillar, and you can basically choose which tenet you follow. And that's a valid pathway to enlightenment. So if you choose the pillar of fire, you might go follow the tenet of warmth is found in open arms and be a very open diplomatic person. Or you could take the opposite, which is destroy what offends, and become a sort of a crusading inquisitor in the name of fire. You could follow the pillar of fate, and follow the tenet, all things have a time to end, and be the sort of person who documents sort of the endings of things or brings them about themselves. Or you could follow the pillar of flux and say everything starts somewhere.
What an excellent response to the folks who criticized the traditional 3x3 alignment system. Here, have a 6x6 alignment system. And you'll find
Exactly.
And you'll find exactly what your character's about. That's excellent.
Yeah. As characters develop, they take on more and more tenets. So a starting character only has 1 tenet that they adhere to. By the time they're a mature, sort of developed character, they've got 3, and then that forms the core of their approach to the world. And within a group of 4 to 6 players, you can have a lot of variety. You can have some doubling up, but have different interpretations of the tenets, or you could have everybody having different tenets, and then trying to work out how they all work together in harmony.
That's great. Great. That's cool. All right, we got. Are we? I've just been stung by an invisible wasp hawk. Is there anything else going to kill me here?
As Heath in chat have dubbed it, the flying nope. Heath is on fire for the common names of the bestiary.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay. This is an interesting one. This is the masker crab. These are psychic crabs that basically act as parasites. They find people who are asleep or dormant, clamp themselves around their face, and then generate a psychic field where people don't notice them anymore, and basically. So you can have one of these clamped onto your face and not realize, and then they basically just eat what you eat. A
fine Chardonnay in this case, I think.
A fine Chardonnay, yeah. So there is an order of assassins and thieves in the Crucible who've worked out that they can use this psychic influence to basically be ignored and pass unnoticed, and so they willingly take on these masker crabs as companions to wreak their deadly trade.
I kind of wish we'd ended with the fruit hog in the Illraska because they were delightful. I hope the next page just turns things around. Oh, these folks look nice.
Yes, nightberries. So this is just because it's a fantasy setting and you need to have glowing fruit on trees at night. We came up with nightberries, and one of the sources of illumination, rather than having open flames and torches and so forth, are jars of nightberry juice. And because some of the the species in Crucible are highly flammable. The Acrasi are made of wood, and the Skur have delicate wings and other body parts and don't want to be exposed to fire. So having a source of illumination that is safe to be around. So this is a family of drake, which is one of our other species, collecting night berries for lamps and lanterns.
Delightful.
That is fantastic. Glowing fruit. I will not play this game. There is no glowing fruit in it.
And I think this is our last of the Scholar's Journal sketches.
Indeed.
This is Zakurl's Vulture. It's just an example of how the primes sort of overlap with normal creatures in the world. They're otherwise normal vultures, but they're imbued with fire. Their talons and claws are red hot, and they basically cook their food as they scavenge and eat it. They're
barbecue buzzard. Love it.
Yeah, barbecue buzzard.
Sorry, Heath. Feature.
This is great.
So all of those compile at the back of the book to form the Scholar's Journal, along with a couple of other entries in the bestiary.
Well, I'm already opening the book to see what else is in there, because what I've seen so far are delightful.
That's tremendous.
Just trying to give, we can't be exhaustive in covering the entire panoply of options.
But you've absolutely kind of ripped it open, thinking about this kind of harmonious place where things got to eat, and it's nothing we've seen before. We feel like it's fantasy, but it's not kind of stick talking in the microwave again. Heat until lukewarm. Yawn. So nothing against you, JRR. You were fantastic. This is fresh. This is fresh.
Did you say
if
when
you like the sound of this game, you could win it.
Please
by
do.
Writing this in chat.
Type
exclamation mark
Lumen, so that the Lumen light will bathe you. Did you say before that once the character gets powerful enough, you can just start making up new creatures and squeeze them into the world?
Absolutely.
Outstanding. And there's so much inspiration here to I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to get one of these 100 coins and start mashing two animals together, because I can. That's amazing. All right, should we move on from the...
The island of Jackson Moreau. It's scaring me now.
Should we move on from the bestiary?
Yep.
We've got some other beautiful color art.
So this is a piece done by Anthony Christou, who did this, and there's a marketplace scene, which is a big spread in the book. But this is the Sea of Hungry Grass, one of the regions of the Crucible where it's sort of steppe plains and sort of nomadic tribes venture forth and live on this sort of vast plain of razor sharp grass. And as you can see, you can see the vault hanging in the sky. As I said before, no matter where you are in the Crucible, if you look toward the vault, you can see it hanging in the sky on the horizon. So it acts as a because there aren't compass directions, because it's the inside of a giant bowl. There's sort of inward and outward rather than north and south. And the vault is at the center, so you always know which way you're going.
So do I ride one of those birds so I don't get
absolutely
ribbons? Yeah,
yep.
Beautiful.
Yep, they're riding birds, and the culture that lives in the Sea of Hungry Grass are called the Sabreka, and they're very much animal trainers and handlers. They live with a whole menagerie of different creatures, and make use of them as part of their daily lives. So you can ride basically giant cassowaries. Now
you were talking about music before, and so this is evocative of a kind of a sound as well.
Yes. So whenever I see this piece, and when I was helping Anthony develop it, the music that I was listening to at the time was Armenian duduk. And it's a very sort of haunting, floating sort of pipe music that you probably have, if you listen to it, you've probably heard it in movie trailers whenever there's any kind of some mournful vista spread out before the viewer, and just capturing that sort of sense of something that could go on forever, and the wind through the grass. It really, I wanted to really capture that, and this piece of art really does that for me.
That's great. I'm getting the Passion soundtrack by Peter Gabriel.
Yes.
It's stretching away. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it.
Shall we flip through these? Just looking at the time. Let's take a brief tour of these beautiful coloured art, because we wanted to flip some coins, I believe.
Yes, we'll get to the coin flipping soon. So this is by Matt Stawicki. This is one of the Draken, because every world frame needs a giant lizard monster. This one just happens to have befriended a small child, and in the
getting a scritch.
Yep. Basically, the Draken live in volcanoes, and this one happens to have befriended this little girl so that it can tell the local community when the volcano is going to explode, so that they can evacuate in time.
Delightful.
Nice.
Appearances can be deceiving in the world of Crucible.
Yes.
I hope appearances continue to be deceiving.
This is another piece by Kathy Wilkins. This is an example of dross. This is what happens to you if you fall to dross too far. As you can see, there's sort of this is an Akrasi who has pledged themselves to the dross of the world, and is in the process of absorbing souls through their face, So dross in the world is sort of a force for corruption and ennui. There are actually dross tenets that you can follow, and rather than pillars of morality, they're called the pits of depravity, and they have quite a number of tenets and associated abilities that give you the strength of dross to fight against the tyranny of the primes, if you believe in that approach to things. But
evolving morality. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that two different flavors of campaign, or do you get dross-aligned characters in amongst the others?
If generally speaking, if you have a character who takes a dross tenet, it's usually because you're playing a redemption arc, and sort of it's dipping into the darkness in order to find the light again. I don't think a group of entirely dross oriented characters would be an interesting exploration of the dark side of the world, but generally speaking, most people look at them and go, "Hey, that looks cool," but I'm not sure. It's a little bit grim.
Nothing about that is good. Let's move on. We're scaring people. Think of the children. It got worse.
Oh boy!
And this one is another example of dross. This is an Ossiac host. Basically, a being reaches the end of their life. Their fated span is up, and at the moment before their death, Dross steps in and says, "So, do you want to keep living?" And if they say yes, then basically they steal the fate of other creatures by literally welding the bodies of other creatures to themselves, and they form these giant colossi of bone and flesh that are immortal, and presumably a scourge that needs to be defeated by the good guys.
Good stuff. Jellyfish.
Yes, this is the queen who appears on the 50.
There she is.
Queen of the Akshay.
One of your
slightly
Kickstarter backers.
Yes. The artwork inspired the species, in fact. Again, I was at Gen Con 2015, and I saw this piece of art and I just had to have it for my for my book. Jesse J is the artist, and this is basically one of the shape-shifting water elemental type creatures.
And I love this, that you have been inspired by somebody else, like the art was there. Like it came to you rather than the other way around, which is really, I haven't heard of that being done. Like you go, wow, look at that. I'll have that. I'll buy the rights, and that'll be part of my world. That's really delightful. That's great.
Yeah. It's just it was one of those striking moments that just everything fell into place, and it just filled in a gap that we had.
Which is what role-playing games are all about. Just building a world together and filling in the gaps.
Yeah. This is just an example of one of the Reaver Wake. They're kind of like a nation of pirates that sail one of the archipelagos of the Crucible. As you can see, the sort of got outboard Nautilus.
Sweet.
Outstanding.
This is a piece by Rebecca Nelson, and she just donated this piece. She read some of the material, did this art, and said, "Hey, is this good enough?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, it's good enough.
Wow.
Definitely put it in the book."
That is
beautiful.
Fantastic. I want one. Stat.
Okay.
All right. That wraps up a brief art tour of this fantastic book, Crucible, the role-playing game, which you can win a PDF copy of right now if you type !Lumen into chat. If you are indeed watching us on Twitch, if you're catching up on YouTube later, I'm so sorry you've just missed out. But it is still available at DriveThruRPG and at campaigncoins.com/Crucible. So I think we've got about 10 minutes left, and we should probably bring it all full circle again back to these beautiful and temptingly sounding coins.
Yes. The jingle is very satisfying. So with the coins, basically every character has a pool of what are called endeavors. Endeavors cover everything that you can possibly do. There are 12 of them, broken down into body, mind, and spirit, and then further broken down into force, finesse, flow, and fortitude. So you can have body finesse, spirit fortitude, mind flow, that sort of thing. And each of them covers a category of activities that you might wish to do. At character creation, you come up with a rating in these pools, and that rating stays with you over the life of the character. What changes is the denomination of the coin that you throw for those pools. So at the start, if you've got an 8, say in body force, you're reasonably strong. If you're throwing 1 denomination coins, you can get between 1 and 8 successes. If you're throwing 50s, you can get between 50 and 400 successes. So the power level scales up quite significantly, and that's a deliberate choice. That we wanted people to be really quite empowered and quite capable by the time they've gone through a few iterations of their character.
So we're looking at the production art for the coins here by Drew Morrow. Drew's a lovely friend of mine. We work together at Blue Tongue THQ. And he's done a ton of our coins, including the super popular Red Dragon in coins. It's a great adaptation of your original artist designs. There's a couple of symbols here that we haven't. Have we got the backs of the coins there, Jackson?
Yes.
Here are all the coins, front and back.
Yeah, so I'm collecting the symbols here, Gareth.
Yes,
we haven't talked about this mandala action.
Yes, so the one face of the coin is the mandala, which also has now the numbers branded onto it. The other side is literally, we call it the tail side, TALE side.
Sweet.
And the tail side is part of the character creation process, and it represents something that you wish to tell a story about your character. But the tail sides of the coins tell the story of the creation of the Crucible. So the 1 denomination, if we can, have we got that?
Yeah, those are the tail sides, I believe.
That's
top left. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one.
So is the 6 primes coming together in the luminous ether to create the world. The second bronze one is the Crucible, with its glorious purpose defined and enlightenment in the process of being pursued. The first silver one with the square cut out of the middle is representative of the 4 elemental primes claiming their species, and the Skier, the Akshay, the Kalatur, and the Drake.
And one of your backers turned this one into a necklace. I saw on Twitter.
Yes. 2 of them actually work as necklaces. The 5 and the 50 can be worn as necklaces, and I didn't expect that at all when when we were going through the design process. But some people just are very clever and come up with new ways of using things. So yes, you can wear this around your neck if you like. The 10 is I should know these off by heart by now.
Well, all the details are...
That's the kind of above and below.
Yes. So that's
yin-yang style.
That's Fate and Flux coming into the world and claiming humans and Akrasi as their patron species. And the next one, the next silver one, is the 20, is the Vault, which is the promise of enlightenment. If you can unlock the Vault, then all the secrets of the Crucible are yours. The 50 is the Pillars of Enlightenment, which is the guideposts for how you can get there. And the 100, nobody knows what the original design of the 100 is, because the Everglass Emperor superseded it with his heraldic design of his crest. So the final step of enlightenment has been lost.
Oh, that's the hourglass symbol.
The hourglass symbol is the Everglass, and yeah. So
thanks
one
a
of the
lot.
He has a lot to answer for, that guy.
Like when we make coins with denominations, we like to make the smaller denominations substantially small, the large denominations substantially large. And some of that is just a practicality. It just means they're a little bit kind of, easier to tell about and cheaper to make. But your coins are really heavy and chunky because you wanted good flipping.
Yes.
So they all stack super nice. So some people like to pile up their money. Some people like to just throw it around. So they're very pleasing. If you were to put the Crucible coin set in your shopping cart on campaigncoins.com, why would you do such a thing? I have no idea. And then check your shipping. You may have a moment of bill shock. And that's simply because these are really heavy. Like that is just some mad metal. So it's a fantastic coin set to use, not just for Crucible, this is like a universal one-size-fits-all, usually for board games, any role-playing games. And I love in the design, all the shapes are different. So you can kind of tell the coins apart by feel and shape and texture and cutouts. So they're really, really tremendous. And such an honour to make them for you, Gareth. Thank you for having us on board.
Thank you. It's been a delight working with you.
We want to do this strength test now. Jackson, I'm ready. Have you got yourself, do you want to do the 50s or the ones, Jackson?
Well, I have a big pile of coins. Tell me what to grab, and I'll grab them.
Sure.
Well,
so
Gareth was talking about doing a strength test at first level with a 1 coin and also a 50s. So
very good.
Say you've got a pool of 8, so take 8 of your 1 denomination coins.
Which one do you want to do, Jackson?
Oh my goodness, I've only got 5 of each coin in front of me. That's embarrassing.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
No, in that case, you can throw 5 of the 50s. That's fine.
Oh, great. All right, I'll throw 5 50s.
I can beat you. All right, so talk us through a throw.
Okay,
so I'll be one at a time. You just how do I stop taking out the cat's eye with mad coins flying around the room?
Literally, you cup them in your hands, sort of like you would like you're cradling a tiny bird, and then you shake it vigorously, and to get them sort of tumbling around in your hand, and then spill them down onto the ground. I recommend you use a mat because onto a hard wooden table or glass table, they make quite a clattering sound.
I'm using
I have a
D20
fantastic-
crits or fails dice tray.
Dice
for our
tray, wow, which
Coins
will
or
be
a
on
dice tray.
special during Gen Con, so
Yes,
look out
indeed.
for that. I have
so
my
this is what
lovely
they were made
playmat
for.
from Endgame Oakland.
So
All right,
couple-
okay.
And then
My 8-1s are going to beat your 550s, Jackson. Let's have a strength-based fist fight. I can do you.
okay.
I got to be one of those glacial guys. I can.
I am tossing my
Violence
coins.
is not the answer. All
And
right,
then-
what's the good side?
That was
The good side is
incredibly
one with-
satisfying. I'm sorry we didn't have a cam for that, but I love how they all just kind of tumble and then go spreading
Yes,
out.
it
That's
is-
much
it
more
is really
satisfying
good.
than rolling dice. I'm all here for
Yeah,
it.
it's a wonderful sensation. So you basically look at the side with the numbers is successes, so you can easily count them up. So we call that side the head side because it's the side with the busts on the 50 and the 100. So you literally just add up the numbers that you see. If you've got one denominations, it's quite easy. It's just the number of coins. If you've got the 50s, you have quite a few to add up.
I've rolled 3 successes, I believe.
3, so three
right.
times 50.
Is 150?
So you get 150 successes. That would be enough to
What?
that's enough to level a building.
Outstanding. All right. So once you've got
How
a
did you go,
handful of
Mark?
these, you're quite high
I
level.
got 4.
You got 4 successes. That's a tolerably good pugilism.
Points for Gryffindor.
Fantastic. I love that. So it's
yeah.
pleasing.
it's literally the size of the coins you have is how powerful you are. That's even more satisfying, I think, than rolling dice because dice are they've got the numbers on them, whereas this is I can see how powerful I am, like right there in front of me. I love that.
Yeah. One of the other features of the game is that you can actually burn coins because you have more coins in your collection than you can actually throw. You can burn a coin to turn a tail into a head. So there's a limited resource sort of expenditure option there as well. So do you risk burning a coin and then maybe running out, or do you go with what fate has foretold for you? And there are other things in the game that change how many coins you can hold and how many of each denomination that you own.
Also, I mean, I'd like to say that, of course, that I mean, these are beautiful, they're thematic, and we love making them and selling them. But you could play with the coins in your pocket.
Yep.
Or given that we're effectively a cashless, like paper, electronic society now with all the tapping, all the coins that sit in bowls around your house doing F all. So that would be just as pleasing. Get the PDF, throw it down, maybe just get a little collector pack so you can say to everyone, hey, here's one of each of the 7 coins. You get the theme of the world. But, just drag out those, Aussie 20-cent pieces, throw some platypuses around. It's like 2 up but legal. Because coin flipping is fun.
Yeah, it's a very, very satisfying process to go through, and everybody who's received their coins from the fulfillment, or who've bought them online so far, I get little messages almost every day saying, "Oh my God, they're so satisfying to jingle." They
really are.
Yeah, it's a real different sensation, different experience to throwing dice.
But I'm mindful that the full coin set is a huge set. There's 95 coins, so it's it's a lifelong investment, but it's a deep one. But you can just grab the PDF, maybe even win it.
Maybe even
get
win
into
it.
the business end of this stream. And so we're going to give people another moment to write Lumen.
If you
I've
were
lost my
tuned
cheat
in,
card.
if you are tuned in and you have not typed !Lumen into chat, then you have no chance of winning a free PDF copy of Crucible. If you do type !Lumen into chat right now, you have some chance of winning a copy of PDF copy of Crucible.
Coin flip of a chance. While people are having a last moment to type that, all of the Kickstarter updates and everything, it's always may the lumen's lights bathe you.
Yes.
That's a kind of a, it's such a lovely catchphrase, this tremendous wish.
Yes.
Is that something that you kind of cooked up to begin with? And what is the effect of being bathed in that light? Apart from the fact that there is an invisible flying murder hornet.
Not always, but sometimes. It started as something sort of evocative to put in posts to backers, and to kind of represent a saying that might be had in the world of Crucible, that people would wish each other that they would be bathed in the light of the lumen. And then during development, I worked out what it actually meant. And for those of you who have tuned in, the lumen, I mean, everybody is constantly exposed to the light of the lumen. It is the sun and it is the moon. But there is a third light that comes from the lumen when you achieve enlightenment. And it is literally the light of the lumen bathes you as your soul is purified to its final stage, and you ascend to the 100 denomination level of power, and become truly a god of the world of Crucible. There is a luminescence that forever touches your soul as a result of that. And so to wish that of someone is to wish them success on their journey to enlightenment.
That's delightful.
It's fantastic. And just to humble you, fruit can glow. So you just got to work a lot harder than fruit.
All right. I think that's enough lumen bathing for everyone in chat. We're going to go ahead and roll the giveaway. And the winner is the Antipodean D20. Congratulations. Our good friend Heath from Adelaide, who has, I believe, just stepped out of the stream about 10 minutes ago. But
we know where he lives.
We know where he lives. We have his contact details. So we're going to get in touch with Heath from the Antipodean D20. And that's really great. He was really excited about this stream and supporting Aussie RPG creators. That's kind of what he's all about. So this is really fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you, Heath.
All right. I think that just about wraps it up.
It's the beginning of it's the end of a huge journey for you, Gareth, from getting the book out. It's the beginning of a huge journey for people who are intrigued by this and want to check out the game on campaigncoins.com, on Cosm Games, or on DriveThru. Anything else that you're going to have terrible staircase with, Gareth? We're going to finish the stream. You go, I didn't say. So this is your last chance to. I didn't say. What didn't you say, Gareth? What do you want to?
I mean, none of this would have been possible without the dozens of people who believed in it and supported it, and yourselves supporting the whole process right from the very early days. I remember one of the things that inspired me early on was the Fate coin release that you did, and you had an event at the restaurant, and I ran a test game using Fate coins. And that's one of the things that really kind of started me off thinking, hey, something about these coins, we could do something more with them.
I think Fred from Evil Hat would just be delighted that art begets art. That's delightful.
Yeah. I wouldn't be here without you guys. I wouldn't be here without my amazing team. And I think the thing that I really want to drive home is that Crucible is a world made for everyone. It's an inclusive, diverse world. The species that you can play have so much room for you to express whatever you choose to express, and be tailored to the journey that you want to take, and really there's nobody that we don't want to embrace on that journey, and the point of Crucible is really that together we can achieve enlightenment, we can be better people, we can achieve our dreams, and I think that's sort of the key message of this game is through adversity we can achieve our dreams.
Fantastic.
Outstanding.
Thank you, Gareth.
I'm so
Thank
glad.
you.
Playing this game will indeed make me a better person. I already feel like a better
But
person. just
you're
talking
going to
about
have
the
to
game.
play it a lot, Jackson.
Doesn't
Just
matter.
get up to put some serious hours in, mate.
Better than nothing. All right. That was our chat with Gareth from Cosm Games and the designer of Crucible. We had a great time. Once again, campaigncoins.com/crucible, where you can grab the coins themselves and a PDF copy and a physical copy from us, or a PDF copy and a physical copy from DriveThruRPG. More info from Cosm Games. We've been listening to some delightful tinkering sounds, music from sirenscape.com, which makes an appearance in most of our streams. Yes, and if you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, chuck us a subscribe, chuck us a follow if you're keen, because we're back every now and then playing some good games here on stream. Next Monday, we're back to Beowulf, Age of Heroes, the excellent 5e one-player campaign featuring our good mate Alex.
I'm so excited. My book turned up.
Hey, there it is.
A book made of trees.
Excellent. And also next week is Gen Con. We are, of course, attending Gen Con online, as so many other of our stay-at-home RPG friends in the industry are. So we'll be doing, I think, another stream where we will talk about Crucible and all the other excellent products that have come out at our website over the last year, talking about some upcoming stuff, some sneak previews, and
Some mad specials.
mad specials. So please do, and probably another giveaway. I reckon we will be tempted to do another giveaway at the Gen Con stream. So do chuck us a follow on Twitch, and we'll see you there. I think that's everything.
Awesome.
Good
Thanks, Gareth.
stuff.
Thank you very much, Mark and Jackson.
Thank you. Bye for now.